Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm here to talk about the Turfware TR 460 ride-on spreader machine. This is my personal review and my opinions about how well this works, and maybe a few things that can make it a little better. So to make this accelerate, you just squeeze the bar there and it goes forward. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. You squeeze the bar to go forward, you let off to stop. There is no brake, you just let off to stop. You go in reverse, you press that bar forward. So you squeeze to go forward, press the bar to go backwards. So this thing gets a little sketchy on hills. But you know, this right here, this is perfect. This is perfect right here. So how does it go? Straight up. I had a little problem with the audio, but I'm talking, and as we're going uphill, it handles going straight uphill fairly well, and it's supposed to throttle down as you come downhill. So this is not a very steep hill, but it does throttle down as you're coming down it. I would be really careful coming down a long, very steep hill though. Now, if it were, here, this is pretty steep here. Now see, let me tell you what it did there. So as I was coming uphill, the front tires lost traction a bit and it started getting a little wobbly. So you want to be careful coming up a long, steep hill. You want to take your time coming downhill. Seems to handle better going downhill than it does uphill, but it's a little wonky when you're going uphill and you hit a bump. There's not a lot of traction on the front tires. Now this is not a very big hill at all. It's pretty steep, but it's not big. Now you have to be careful with bumps here too. So let's see, I've got a little rock I'm going over, and that sort of makes the whole thing kind of shift. You go over a rock and you don't have a lot of control when you're going over rocks. So as you know, in some yards you have a lot of holes. When you hit a hole, this thing is not very stable, so you have to have a really good grip on it. I handled that hill pretty well, but going over this rock right here, you just want to have both hands on the steering column here. Let's see, I got one hand. Not very stable when you're just handling it with one hand. I went slow. But you definitely don't want to take that rock right there at full speed. All right, so overall, I love this piece of machinery, especially on a nice, cool, low humidity day like today. It's quite nice. So here we have a water source. You definitely do not want to apply fertilizer around a water source. This is just a little stream here that just goes straight. You know, this is city water. This is just runoff right here. But still, you don't want to fertilize next to this. But this is it was a pretty steep slope right there that I was on, but I don't want to get any steeper than that. So let's see how it handles just taking it along this stream right here. I'm not applying fertilizer, I'm just cruising along. So it handles this slight grade excellent. I know it doesn't look like much of a hill on video, but when you're on this machine and you get on a little bit of a hill, it does seem extreme. So just be careful on it. It takes confidence, okay? I've been using this machine for a month now, and I've gotten the more and more confident the more that I've used this. But when you get on a hill, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just, it feels quite aggressive when you get on a slope like this, so you just have to lean with it. So let's take this fancy piece of machinery over here in the shade, and I'm going to talk a little more about it. All right, so what you see here is the ignition switch. It's just a turn on. Just turn it on, turn it off. It's as simple as that. And then you have your choke over here. So on a cool morning, you want to choke that, crank it up, and that'll get you going. So just wanted to do a basic little review here. This is a parking brake. Let's see, where does it? Okay, here you go. You got a nice view here. Parking brake just closes right onto the tread of the tires. So let's talk about the fertilizer. Okay, that's what this piece of machinery is for, okay? Applying fertilizer to a yard. So first of all, I keep this little hand spreader inside the hopper because there are hills that are just too steep for this thing. So if you work in lawn care, you know some yards also have some hard to get to areas. So let's say if there are stairs and there's no way to get to the backyard except for up a flight of stairs, maybe there's some terraces that this thing cannot hop over. You just want to grab your hand spreader, scoop out a handful of fertilizer, and it may take 2 or 3 trips, but it's always better to be safe and just use something like this. Or even a belly grinder, belly spreader will do the same thing, has the same purpose. But you really want to be careful at taking this thing up very steep hills, especially when you're trying to off-road this thing. You don't want to take it up over some terraces and scrape the ground and tear anything up. So I tried to empty this thing out as much as I could so that you could see what happens when you're fertilizing. So this is your gauge right here. Let me show you head on here. So this is, you know, essentially if you have a push spreader, you have a little knob and you turn it. Most of us fertilize around level 14, 15, or 16, which is halfway on your push spreader. But this is essentially the same thing. So you have 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want to put this little corner right here on whatever number you're wanting to fertilize. So you see that corner right there? It's right on 4, maybe just slightly above 4. So what that does, when you push the lever forward here, it's just going to catch that, and that opens up your holes in the hopper there. So take a close look there. They're not quite open all the way. They're only open about halfway. So level 4 there opens it up about halfway. And this is just how you open and close the hopper holes there. So if you want to open this up all the way, you just unscrew that little knob and you slide this. Let's put it on 6, okay? So you got the little corner there right on 6. I'll push that open and that opens that up all the way. And the same on level 1 and 2. Let's put it on 2, tighten that down, open it up again, and that's just barely open. So I have found that when I'm fertilizing my yards, I like to keep it on 4, maybe just slightly above 4. Tighten that down, and that's about what you're dealing with there. Close that back. Now, as soon as you turn on the ignition, from there's your motor. As soon as you cut it on, it automatically engages your paddle. So your paddle here starts spinning as soon as you crank it up. So whether you have the hopper open or closed, that paddle is always going to be spinning. So I like that because as soon as I get onto a yard, let's just say I have to stop for a cat, okay? I don't know, a cat's running in front of me, so I have to stop. I can stop, shut off the valve there, not fertilizing, but that paddle is still spinning. So that way, if you have to stop suddenly, you're not gonna drop, you know, a sudden load of fertilizer just out if you're not able to shut off the hopper in time. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it does to me. So let's talk about weed control. So we have, let me show you the tank first. We have here a 25-gallon tank, full tank capacity, 25 gallons. There's a way to fill it on each side, but it's just one tank, okay? So you can see my water level there, or my chemical level. So when you're filling up or mixing up, as soon as it gets a little high here, it just starts to run across and it'll fill up that side. Or either way, you could fill up that side and it does the same thing. It's all one tank. So 25-gallon weed control capacity. So what are we dealing with when we are spraying weeds? We have 3 boom sprayers on the front. Let me show you that next. Here's your boom sprayers. You have one here, one in the middle, and one on that side. So 1, 2, 3. You can control those 3 separately or all at one time by these levers here. So here's your pressure. That shows you how much pressure you have coming out of your weed control tank. So when the levers are up like this, they're off. Now, on this handle up here, you see this switch right here? On. Okay, that actually cut everything on. So your weed control is still working. You don't even have to have the machine on, off. But that will run your battery down, so you don't want to leave that on accidentally overnight. You'll come back to work the next day with a dead battery. So when these levers are up right here, there's no weed control coming out of the boom sprayers, okay? So if you just wanted to, if you're riding along slowly in someone's yard and you see a little weed coming up here, you want to hit it with the left, pop, and open it back up. So pop, I just sprays it. Same thing for center. If you have a weed coming up right in the middle, you see it while you're driving along, just hold on with one hand here, pop, spray that weed, bring it back up. But of course this switch, remember, that switch has to be on. And the same with the right sprayer. Now let's just say you get to a yard like this. Let's take a look at this yard a little closer. So we have a ton of weeds here. This whole area is just covered in weeds. So you could just blanket spray this whole yard with all 3 boom sprayers. So what you would do in that case is just go ahead and open up those 3 valves right there. And let's just say we're riding along, the machine's on, I've got my fertilizer open, I'm fertilizing, but I want to be spraying weeds at the same time. While those 3 are open, you just flip that switch. And as soon as you hit that switch, the product is going to come out of your boom sprayer. So let's do that. Look at that, off. I don't know if you saw that, but there was some product that came out there that soaked that and soaked my hand spreader there. But I just wanted to demonstrate that. So when the valves are down, you can control the boom sprayers with just that one switch right there. Let's go ahead and cut those back off. So that's essentially how this thing works. So it also has a wand here, and this is it. This is your wand. It doesn't extend any further than that. That's all you're working with. But it does have a little coiled spray cord there. So same thing. You hit that on, you see the pressure is up. So I can come over here, take my wand, and spray these weeds right here. Now that's more of a mist. If you want more of a streamline, you just turn it a bit. Look at that. I like to have more of a mist. Not like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Turn your weed control back off, and you have a nice little holster for your spray wand. Obviously, it takes regular gasoline there, so just fill that up with gas. But overall, this is a great machine. I'm trying to think of something else. You know, it's fairly simple. It looks a little overwhelming at first, but it's pretty simple. It's a heavy duty piece of machinery. It's got some big tires. It can take some, I was about to say it can take some muddy terrain, but you're not going to be fertilizing a muddy yard because you're going to create ruts, right? You don't want to do that. And right here on the front, you have impeller speed control. It's upside down because it just allows you to be able to look over the top and adjust it from here. See there, impeller speed control. So you turn that knob, what is that, counterclockwise to go faster, clockwise to slow that paddle down some, but I've got it dialed in right where I want it. Now let's just say you are on a hill and you have, let's just say this is a really steep slope right here, but you're a little too afraid to get over there on that slope. You can speed that paddle up pretty fast and you can sling that fertilizer pretty far. So if you're a little afraid to get on a hill, just kind of ride along the top of a hill and just sling that fertilizer down the hill, you're still getting good, even fertilizer control. It would be better to do that than to flip this thing over on a hill. So I forgot to mention, it also has a guard here on the right side, and it is activated by this knob here. So you just turn it straight, press it straight down, and that closes that guard right there. So if you're fertilizing a yard next to a driveway and you don't want to sling fertilizer all over that customer's driveway, you put that guard down. So I'm going to pull up and you see it just lifts that guard right up. So now you're fertilizing everything, but it's used, this is just simply just pushing and pulling. So you push that down all the way, that closes that, lift it up, and it lifts up your guard. So the Turfware TR 460 is a wonderful machine. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this video and say that I love this ride-on spreader. It's fantastic. It allows me to be able to fertilize a yard evenly and spray weeds at the same time. And I'm 46 years old and I don't like pushing that little small Let's Go push spreader on every yard. So this allows me to be able to fertilize my yards efficiently and effectively. And let me say that I'm not sponsored by this company. This is my first time using this Turfware product, and I've only been using it for a month, okay? So there's probably other people out there that are better qualified to talk about the ins and outs of this machine, but I'm just giving my personal opinion of what I think about this after 1 month of use. Now, I average on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, maybe 15 yards a day, fertilizing my yards with this thing, but it is a very efficient piece of machinery. So I'm gonna grab you here and we're gonna take a closer look at some of the ins and outs of this machine. So let's take a closer look around. TR 460 model. Here's a QR code if you want to scan that and get some more information on it. But this hopper here can hold up to 3 50-pound bags. You could probably fit 4 50-pound bags in there, but it gets pretty heavy and full. So I haven't loaded it down with more than 3 50-pound bags of fertilizer at one time. So it's obviously meant for fertilizing and spraying weeds. So we've got a tank here that you can fill up some weed control of whatever you need, whether it's post-emergent, pre-emergent, and just get it dialed in and spray the weeds. So let's take this thing for a spin. So this is not full speed, but this is about as fast as I would like to get if I'm fertilizing a yard. But I could throttle this thing up little higher and it would speed this machine up. But this is about as fast as I really want to go. You can go as slow or as fast as you want. You really want to kind of lean into it a little bit. This is a pretty bumpy area right here, so if you're going too fast, it could easily throw you off. But you'll get the feel of the machine as you're running it, and you'll kind of learn to lean into it a certain way. So overall, I absolutely love this machine. I've got nothing really bad to say about it. The only thing that I would say is that it gets a little wonky on a steep hill. So I would just warn anyone to just be really careful on a hill. I don't know if it was designed to be able to take really steep hills. I don't think anything really is, but it's got some really good traction on the tires, so that'll keep you rolling. But if you start going straight uphill, it's gonna lose traction a bit, and you're gonna lose a little bit of that traction, and it's gonna kind of start to turn left or right, and you're just gonna lose some traction. So be really careful going straight up a hill. It does throttle down when it's going down a hill, but if you hit a bump, if you're coming down a steep hill, it's gonna kind of bounce a bit, and when it bounces, you'll lose traction, and then it's just gonna start rolling and really get away from you. So be careful coming down a steep hill that is bumpy. So also be careful on your slopes. You don't wanna be on a really steep hill and tip over, then you could possibly damage the machine or injure yourself. So you don't want that to happen. So just be really careful on a slope and an incline. But otherwise, I'm testing this thing out. This has only been a month since I've been using this machine, and I really like it, and I'm learning the ins and outs of it, and I'm learning that when I pull up to a house, I can look at a hill, and I can now say whether I need to get this machine or use the smaller Let's Go push spreader, or even a hand spreader or a chest spreader. There are multiple ways to fertilize a yard, but you really don't want to get this on a really steep yard, so be careful with that. But otherwise, this is a fantastic piece of machinery. I'm not sponsored by this company. I just wanted to give my own opinion and help someone out who may be looking into buying this. But the company is Turfware Equipment Company. And here is their phone number if you want to give them a call, on their website, turfware.com. So next, I want to talk about the spreader carrier. So they actually make a carrier that goes on the back of a truck. So let's go take a look at that. So Turfware makes this carrier right here. You see their name on it. So they make this, and it is specially designed to carry this piece of equipment on the back of a truck. So let's take a closer look at what we did here. So you do have to have a little extra fabrication for your truck. So this is my regular trailer hitch right here. But we have stabilized this with 2 additional hitches on each side. So I don't even use the F350 factory trailer hitch there, but we fabricated this on the left and right side of the truck, and it is stable. I'm standing on this right now, and it doesn't bend, it doesn't break. But as you can see here, the trailer side of it, the actual ramp side of it, sticks out pretty far. So if you're in a street, you don't want this thing to be sticking out too far into the street. So you want to unload your spreader on the house side. Just unload it into your customer's yard. Now we know some yards that you pull up to, it may be just a straight up incline. So that may be a little awkward there. So if you do ever have to unload this machine into the street, go ahead and unload, get your spreader out of the way, come back and then raise your ramp and leave it up while you're working, and then bring it back down when you're ready to load your machine back up. Parking brake. we're all loaded up. So the ramp here has 2 latches. So you just close and latch it there, close and latch it on the right side. And here you get a better look of the trailer hitch, the actual hitches of the carrier itself. And this is made by Turfware. But it's a perfect fit here. Okay, so let me show you. This is a part of the ramp. This is not a part of the spreader here, as you can see. But this is a part of the actual ramp. And you just end up rolling your spreader right up under this. So if you do hit a pothole on the highway, this might have a little bounce to it, but it's just gonna bounce right up against this plate. And that's gonna keep it from flipping off. There is no latch to really hold this thing down other than this protective ramp right here. And you have one on this side too. So that keeps it from jumping off. And then you also have, so this is what you stand on. This is the platform of the spreader. So you have to lift that up whenever you're unloading. But that comes down, and that's just a little extra protection there. It just sticks right out of the back of the ramp right there. So that's just some extra protection. So this thing fits pretty tight and it's not going anywhere. Also, you want to remember to have your parking brake on while traveling. So that's it, guys. That is my review of the Turfware TR 460 ride-on spreader. Thank you for watching.